If you've ever wondered what the heck do I make for dinner tonight, even with a stocked kitchen, then you might want to stick around and make sure to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss more videos like this. Recently, I watched a video of a lady saying that as a wife and a mom, one of her biggest challenges is that she doesn't always know what to cook for her family. Before I go on with this gist, for dinner tonight, I'm making pasta and meatballs. So what I do is I add my minced beef into a bowl. So I use a combination of beef and pork, and then into that I add eggs, breadcrumbs, some chopped onions, chopped garlic, some herbs, and then I also add chili sauce and Worcestershire sauce. Everything I add into my meatballs are things that will either bind the meatballs or add flavor. I also add some Parmesan cheese, and then I season with salt and pepper to my liking. After adding all my ingredients into my bowl, I go ahead to mix it really well until it is well combined, and then I form the balls. So in the video, the lady actually said it in a very funny way, but I could feel her pain and relate, because sometimes I also feel like, what are we going to eat in this house today? And usually my hubby is no help in this area because he is not a foodie like me. He also relies on me to tell him what we are having for dinner. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing some of the food ideas that I make that makes dinner time decisions really easy. Now back to our gist. I have tried using a meal plan several times, and I even have a really cute one over on my website that is available for free, and I know that it's helpful to most people, but honestly for me, meal planners don't really work. I don't like to restrict myself when it comes to what I eat, and I feel like eating things on specific days, on particular days, and that's why I make them and usually not what I've already planned out on a meal planner. I feel like that is just going to restrict me. So to help get meals ready for my family, what I have found that works really well for me is to have some basic things stocked in my freezer, my pantry, and my fridge. Things I like to stock in my freezer are beef, chicken, pork, bacon, blended pepper, dried fish, stock fish for soups. In my fridge, I like to keep bell peppers, carrots, tomatoes, milk, cream. And in my pantry, I have rice, beans, flours like whole wheat flour, all-purpose flour, semo, gari, and the rest. I also like to meal prep things like my Belgian waffles, banana bread, French toast, which make for quick breakfasts. So what I did is, after forming the balls, the meatballs, whatever was left, I also formed into burger patties so that I can meal prep that for whenever we want to eat burger. After forming the meatballs and the burger patties, I pop the meatballs into a preheated oven to cook, and then I pop the burger patties into a freezer. Once it's frozen, I package them into Ziploc bags for later. So for my pasta, I'm using whole wheat pasta, and I probably should have used a bigger pot because this almost boiled over, but I used the wooden spoon trick, so that didn't happen. Normally for my meatballs, I like to pan fry them, but today, since I had a lot, I decided to bake them in the oven. After a few minutes, they were ready, and I just went ahead to make my pasta and meatballs. So I'm using a pasta sauce that I meal prepped. I actually have a video for this, and I'll leave it linked in the description if you're interested. So I just added the meal prepped sauce into my pan, and then I added the meatballs. I allowed that to simmer for a few minutes, and then I added my pasta. Stirred it together. I simmered that for a few seconds, and then I finished with some basil leaves. To serve the dish, I topped with more basil leaves because I absolutely love basil, and I have a lot of basil growing in my small garden right now. And then I finished off with some Parmesan cheese, and this dish was so delicious. So jumping on to another night. So tonight for dinner, I made sweet and sour beef. So I just checked Pinterest. I was looking for a really quick and easy stir fry dish. So I saw a sweet and sour chicken, and I didn't feel like cooking chicken on this particular night. So I just switched it out for beef, and it was really delicious. And to eat along with this sauce, I made cooked basmati rice. So I started off by cooking my basmati rice, and while that was cooking, I went ahead to prep my other ingredients. So for this dish, I will leave all the ingredients listed in the description below. So I'm cutting my beef into bite-sized pieces. After cutting the beef, I went ahead to prep my other ingredients. So I chopped my onions, garlic, habanero pepper, and chili pepper. I used both green and red chili peppers. Into the beef, I add cornstarch, and I just coat the beef with the cornstarch until it is well combined, and then I set that aside, and then I go ahead to prepare the sauce. So for the sauce, into a bowl, I'm adding ketchup, soy sauce, vinegar, sweet chili sauce. The recipe calls for brown sugar, but I use dates, powdered dates instead, some more cornstarch and water. So first things first is to heat up oil in your pan and saute the beef until it is well cooked. Once the beef gets brown on all sides, remove the beef from the pan and drain out any excess oil. Transfer the onions, the chopped onions, garlic, habanero peppers into the pan and saute that for a few minutes. Add the beef back into the pan and add the sauce. I also added some chopped bell peppers and Palermo peppers. Add the sauce, then add the beef back into the pan. Mix really well until the sauce becomes thick and luscious, and then finish with some chopped spring onions and sesame seeds, and this sauce is ready to serve. This is a really quick and easy, delicious sauce that I know you will love. For the next recipe, we'll be making steaks and roasted potatoes. This is one of my family's favorite dishes to make, especially the steaks. Normally, I would serve the steaks with mashed potatoes, but on this day, I just decided to use serve with roasted potatoes, and it was really delicious. So the first thing is to prepare the potatoes. Normally, I would leave the skin on the potatoes, but I completely forgot that I was doing roasted potatoes. I thought I was making mashed potatoes. That's why I peeled the skin. But normally for roasted potatoes, I like to leave the skin on the potatoes. So I just go ahead to boil the potatoes for a few minutes to just help it cook faster in the oven. And while that is cooking, I prepare my steaks. So I'm using this pork steaks. So I go ahead to pat the steaks really dry, and for seasoning, I like to use soya spice. So I drizzle some oil on it, and then I sprinkle some soya spice with some seasoning powder, massage it really well into the steaks and set it aside. While that is cooking, let's jump back into our story. So I also like to meal prep things like Belgian waffles, banana bread, French toast, which make for really quick breakfast. Then recently I started meal prepping bread doughs, like my whole wheat bread dough. This can stay in the freezer for a while, and that will just be ready to make any bread that you want. Whenever I cook our favorite soups like egusi, vegetable soup, or eforiro, I make a big batch and freeze the rest. So on busy days or days that I don't know what to cook, I simply thaw out a bowl of soup and serve with any swallow. I'm coming. So for my potatoes here, they are already done. So I added them into a pan, and then I like to serve some kind of vegetable with my roasted potatoes. So I'm using bell peppers, both green and yellow, and I checked and saw that my pan needed more color, so I added Palermo peppers. I also like to use onions, and then I season with some herbs and seasoning powder, and it's ready to go into the oven. Now for the steaks, I like to use my cast iron pan to sear it. So I add butter and oil into the pan, and then I add the steaks and sear it on both sides. I also like to add some rosemary and garlic to help flavor the meat. In our house, we like our steaks to be very well done. So once the meat is properly cooked to your liking, I like to remove it from the heat and then just transfer it to the pan where I have my roasted potatoes and just leave it in the oven to keep it warm while I make the sauce. So for the sauce, I'm transferring all the juices that came out from the steaks into another pan, and then I add some flour into the pan, give that a good mix, and then I add some chicken stock. I seasoned the sauce with some black pepper and Worcestershire sauce because my chicken stock is already well seasoned, and once the sauce is glossy and thick and delicious, it's ready to serve. So I just chop up the meat and serve alongside the potatoes and drizzle the sauce on top. Now on this day, I had a long day of filming, so I filmed a project that I'm working on with an Apple brand, and then I also got started on filming another YouTube video, which is a make ahead breakfast YouTube video. So I was exhausted so I just decided to get dinner ready and quick. So I just picked a no-fuss dinner, which is yam porridge. So I actually forgot that I was filming a dinner recipe video, so I didn't show the process of getting the yam porridge ready, but it's really easy. So I just added my yam, pepper, dried fish and seasonings into a pot, and then I'm just cooking the yam until it's soft. So this is me giving my son. My son was asking me for one of the apple recipes that I filmed today because he really likes apples. So that was me giving him. And then I also finally got my window blinds done. So I've been wanting to change out the curtains I had in my kitchen out for window blinds, and I got that done, and it's just giving my kitchen a whole new look that I love. So for this yam porridge, once the yam is soft, I go ahead to use a potato masher to mash some of the some of the yam down, because that part is, I love that mashed part, and that's the part that my son can eat. So after mashing it, the yam porridge will become really thick. So I just go ahead to finish with some vegetable and palm oil. So this is the vegetable from my garden, so I added that and gave that a good stir. I like to serve my yam porridge with a kind of sauce, so I made dried fish sauce which goes really well with the porridge, and this is ready to serve. It really helps if you have some go-to meals that you know how to make easily. Meals like the ones I share in this video are great to have in your repertoire. So on those days that you don't know what to cook, or you don't have the energy to start thinking of what to cook, if you have the ingredients stocked in your kitchen, mealtime becomes really easy. So hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.